Okay, and you should see there's a little recording thing in the corner. So now if I can get technology to work, I will start a presentation. What I will do is I'm putting up a presentation. It is mainly a prompt for me to make sure that I've covered everything. I will be describing each of the slides and talking to them. So it is a presentation I'm going through, but you don't have to worry about reading what's on there. There's nothing on there that won't be said aloud. So the agenda is to welcome everyone here and to thank you for your volunteering, to give you an update of a few things at campsite, to talk about where we are with COVID, unfortunately, an update on the mobile unit. I want to talk about the cafe idea, which some of you may have heard, but some of you may not have heard, an update on the big give, and then to have a chance for any questions. So the purpose of this is to update all volunteers. We had another talk like this some months ago, and we had good feedback. And really, Campsite could not do what it does without you. So a big part of this is to thank you for everything that you've done, and just let somebody else in, to thank you for your contributions, to thank you for your support, and to make sure that you are part, you know what's going on in the broader Campsite, you know what a little bit more about our plans, and you have an opportunity to learn more about what we're doing, because you are part of the Campsite team, and we really do value what you do for us. So yeah, I did actually start to write out a thank you for all the different ways the volunteers make Campsite work. But I hope that you'll just all accept a thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, that will cover everyone in everything that they do. So first of all, I want to give a little bit of an update from the centre. We have, as you know, changed how we do things slightly, and we're doing a lot more work in the communities of going out with the new outreach workers, and a lot of you will have met them at some of the group activities. But it is worthwhile talking about the other work that they do, because they are supporting people in their homes, they are doing casework. And last month, the caseworkers dealt with over 200 new cases. And these cases are a variety of things, from quite complex needs to simply helping somebody with a piece of information or advice, equipment, and so on. But it is, I think you'll all agree that 200 new cases in a month shows you that the small team of outreach workers are doing a lot of work. Since the last update we've had, we've restarted our group activities, and I know many of you have been very involved in getting these groups restarted, and I want to thank you, because they have been challenging, especially restarting these groups in COVID time, and with working with the outreach workers and them being new members of staff and still learning the ropes. I have been to a number of rural group sessions myself in the last couple of months, and it is lovely to be back out there and to see people, and to just see our service users, see the volunteers, and actually see people really appreciating a lot of the group activities. I think that one of the questions that we are having to ask is, and it's very sad to say this, but a lot of the groups have changed. The people have changed during the pandemic, and the rules and locations and the venues have changed. And I think that we need to make sure that we are meeting the needs of as many people as we can going forward. I think that it is really important. I've spoken to the outreach workers about this. They need to learn from the volunteers, because you have the experience of how everything worked before the pandemic. But we also have the challenges that things have changed in a lot of ways. And this is an opportunity to do things better. But as we try to do things better, we have to be really cautious. We don't throw out any of the good practices before that were learned before the pandemic. So this is where the volunteers and all of you have a huge role, because you are able to work with the outreach workers to make sure that the groups restart and that they are better than before, and that we can meet the needs of our community in a better way going forward. There have been a number of new activities started, and we have used this opportunity to ask people what they want to do. And some of the activities that have been started include Pilates, games clubs, and astronomy sessions. And we've had very positive feedback on all of the new activities. And we are seeing this as an opportunity to try new things, see if they work. And if they don't work, we won't carry them on. But if they work and people want to do them, then let's keep them going. One of the things that I've spoken to people about and the feedback I've had is that we need a more defined program going forward. And I'm working with the client services team at present to put more meat on the plan going forward, so that there is a better plan, so you know what is happening in February, March, April, May, and June going forward. But that is still a work in progress. You're all aware that we are still in COVID times, and when we planned to have this meeting, I didn't know that there'd be a new variant appearing as we were doing this. And I would like to thank you again for bearing with us as we try to work in as COVID safe a way as possible. And I am sure that you're aware we're not the only organisation that is doing risk management at present. And what we have to balance off is the risk to our service users, members, to the volunteers and staff in doing any activity. And the first principle has always been that we have to be able to do it in a safe way that doesn't unduly risk anyone. I think that these policies have to be reviewed and considered at every different activity and for different people, because people are different, their conditions are different, their houses are different, the community rooms are different. And what we need to do is realize that the reason we have these policies and processes is to try to keep everyone safe. And there's a real balancing act if you've got somebody in real need about how you respond and apply those rules. I don't want this to turn into a COVID session, but I think it is just worthwhile reiterating the ethos and this, where we're coming from, that I'm sure Kate, Joy, and Denise has discussed with you, that we have set a very simple policy that if we can support somebody over the phone or in the open air, that is the safest way to do it. And if we can meet their needs in the open air or over the phone, then we should do that because it is safest for them. However, you especially know that there's a lot of people need the emotional contact. They actually want to have somebody keeping them company. They want a visit. They need somebody to read their post or anything like that. And there then comes a point where you have to go into their homes. And if we go into people's homes, we have to try to mitigate the risks as much as possible by using hand hygiene, face masks, and all of the things that we've talked about. And we have a robust set of procedures and policies that should allow us to look at things and have a logical system to go down and identify where the risk lies and when actually it is worthwhile going into somebody's home. And it's very different to do something face-to-face, sat down, both in an armchair, with more than 2 meters between yourselves, than to be standing chatting in a corridor. I know that these rules and procedures must cause you a lot of frustration and not a little bit of confusion if you think that something else is happening in a different way, and we're saying we can't do something with one person, but we can do it with somebody else. I just wanted to explain to you the logic behind why it is like that, and it is to keep everyone safe, and people's health conditions are different, and we have to consider how vulnerable somebody is. We have to consider what the activity is, and we have to consider, what the need is. But we believe that we have a robust and safe series of policies and procedures that have enabled us to give support to people through the pandemic and will enable us to move forward and to make decisions in a way that is ensuring we're keeping people as safe as they possibly can. I'll move on from here, but I just wanted you to be aware that I'm really aware of, the restrictions this puts on you, and I really appreciate you doing everything to keep yourselves and our community as safe as possible during these very strange times. Recently, I was asked about the mobile unit, and I was told, I was asked, does the mobile unit do anything else apart from park up outside village halls? And I wanted to put up some stats, and these are some of the most recent stats from the mobile unit. And this shows what the mobile unit did in the last 12 months. And you have to remember the bulk of this time was during lockdown. So a lot of this activity that I'm just about to read through, was severely limited, and this is only a portion of what we would expect it to do. Many of you will have seen the mobile unit at the rural groups, and so far it's visited 75 times to rural groups. It has attended 10 other campsite events, which are fundraising and awareness raising events. It has supported 340 clients going to their homes and carrying out a variety of pieces of work. This included 19 assessments, 181 equipment visits, 131 advice and information visits that break down into directed for further social opportunities 5, referred to external agencies 47, and other advice internal referrals 79, and technical support was given to 9 people. If you think in 12 months, if you think of those stats, that means that during lockdown, it was still visiting more than 1 person a day on average. So I hope that you can see, I think that really does show the mobile unit has done a lot to help a lot of people during these times. Some of you may have heard about the cafe idea, and it's something we've sort of touched on. I just want to talk a little bit more about it because we are progressing the idea. During our research and talking to people, our service users have repeatedly said that they want somewhere to drop into, that they want somewhere to have a tea or coffee, somewhere to socialize, and somewhere to get information. Taking other pieces of advice, we've decided that we could meet this by having a sensory cafe, somewhere that's set up to be welcoming to people with sensory impairments. And in addition to meeting the needs of our service users, this could provide employment opportunities for people with sensory disabilities, and to raise the profile of campsite. It will be able to at least cover the running costs of running the cafe. Hopefully it will make a profit and be able to fund other work. And it will also be open to the public. And one of the things that we've discussed recently is that we think it would be a lovely to have somewhere that the volunteers can go to, that it's an organization they're involved with, and there is a location that they can visit and have a cup of coffee and a slice of cake and a chat and socialize and find out what's happening in Campsite. We are currently looking at a location. We have not managed to sign any leases or do anything like that, but it is moving forward, and hopefully we'll have news soon about where this cafe will be. The last thing I've been asked to update you on is the Big Give, because today is the first day of the Big Give Christmas Challenge. We're very fortunate to be on this scheme, and we did it last year. And it's a way to raise funds to support Campsite, and it's an organisation called the Big Give, and they will double any donation that we receive through their website in the next week. So you can actually double your money. And if you know anyone who would want to support Campsite, when we send out the details of this, Joy will send out a link that if you want to support the Big Give, or if you can promote it to anyone you know, we'd really appreciate it, because it's a great opportunity for your donation to be doubled straight away. And I'll actually stop sharing at this point, and so I can see you all. That was a little bit of a whiz through and an update. But did it give you a feel for where we are? And if anyone's got any questions? Ooh, stunned silence.
I like the idea of the tea and coffee, and also there's a lot of people around, not Cherry Hinton, but I don't always say the right thing, so, but Mill Road is very good, and I've lived down there. Well, when I was young, I lived down there, and we were always, it was all a good hub there, and a good friend, good people there. And they've also got a church. I don't think it's working, it's not there at the moment, but there's small churches, so that if any people needed any help or to talk about somebody, to give a bit of help, I trained with the church, so I could do things like that if somebody's sad or somebody's not well. I used to work for Great St Mary's, and anything like that, I can help you with that, and to put people into places where they need to be.
Thank you. And I don't know if you've heard, but the location we're actually looking at is on Mill Road. So you've obviously, that's probably obviously got out already, but I think it's a very good location. And I do think that it is social interaction so important, and having somewhere, and there's formal support and there's informal support. And I think just having somewhere you can go for the informal support, and it will just be welcoming, and really, I think that's really important. And I do think that linking in with the local churches would be a fantastic thing.
Yeah, I can do a lot with the church.
Oh, excellent.
If you need anything,
we are a little way off the next stage.
Yeah, I'm too excited. Sorry.
Thank you. Martin, do you have a question?
Yes, it's more a statement rather than a question, but you mentioned, excuse me, Mike, the desirability of, if you can, seeing people you've befriended on a regular basis, seeing them by either outdoors or talking to them on the phone.
Yeah.
But there is an alternative. If they are tech savvy or they have someone in the house who's tech savvy, I do a weekly quiz at the moment on Zoom with a lady who has MS and is chair-bound, has sight problems as well. And that seems to work extremely well. She has to rely on her carer to set it up, but it really works terribly well. And as a sort of second best, shall we say?
Definitely, and I will say I've got a side project that I've been asked by. As I said, I've been going around some of the groups, and I've been speaking to a few people, and I've spoken to some of the gentlemen who've actually asked me to set up a group for men, and one of the suggestions there was a Zoom quiz. So Martin, I may be coming to you for some advice and help.
Well, not so about a joint, a group one, but why not? Why not? Yes, absolutely. Yes, exactly.
Thank you for that, Martin. Does
Women
anyone
like-
else have any questions? Is that Ruth?
Yes, women like Zoom quizzes as well.
Oh, they can. Do you know, we can have as many. But do you know, I think that in some ways, and this is what I was talking about, doing the best of the old and the best of the new. That I think, in some ways, Zoom quizzes is something we need to keep going, and having it's variety. Let's celebrate. Let's have mixed quizzes. Let's have quizzes for men that can be all about football and rugby.
Well,
and let's have other quizzes. Let's just have whatever people want. Let's try to give it to them. And I think this is an opportunity. And you're quite right, Martin. I think that technology does allow us to do more. And I think I don't want to do anything less. I think I want to do more. So I think that perhaps we need to have at least 2 or 3 quiz groups then. Does anyone else have any other questions that they want to talk about our plans and future? And first of all, it would be good to have some feedback. Do you think that things like this are good to do on a regular basis for the volunteers? And was the information I've given you, was that useful, or did you want something else?
good.
I go most of the places anyway, so I just pick things up on the way.
Yes, yeah. Well, if there are no...
Ruth, got something?
I was only going to say that this is the first one that I've actually ever listened to. So yes, it is interesting, and therefore, if there was another one, I would make the effort to
Excellent.
come in on it. I do.
Well,
can I get back to the cafe and say, if it is going to be located on Mill Road, I think that would be an excellent location, because it is a very community-minded area. So, not people unrelated to campsite, whether they have sight disabilities or volunteers or anybody, would, I think, support it because of what it stands for the city.
Thank you, Ruth. That's you've hit the nail on the head, and I think you've come to the same conclusion we have. There is we're in the planning phase, and I hope to have some news in the next few weeks about where we are with it. And it's going to take a while, because the building that we are looking at is currently empty, and we'll need a lot of work to turn it around. But I think it will be a great focus and a great opportunity to raise the profile of campsite, to give us somewhere. And I will say, one of the positive things is it does have some parking there, which is very unusual in central Cambridge. And we hope that it will be able to give something that will have the positive thing of meeting the needs of our community and raising the profile, and hopefully raising some funds to support the charity as well.
Just one quick thing. I mean, as you mentioned, Mike, a lot of staff changes have happened lately.
Yes.
It'd be very useful just to have what they call an organogram, just a chart showing who does what, just to circulate it to volunteers.
We can do that. Joy, can you remind me, and perhaps when we send the thanks out for this, perhaps we can do an updated organogram.
I think that's the word.
That is the right word. It just didn't quite want to come out of my mouth.
That's good. I like that.
But I can get an updated one to you, and I do think, one of the things I will say is, I think we've got a great team here, and this should be a point to thank Denise, Joy, and Kate, and Paula, because they do so much work to keep everything going. There is a great team in the outreach team, and I was talking about the casework load that they're doing, and I can't, I could go into detail on some of that, but the work that they're doing is quite remarkable. I also get Joy coming to me talking about some of the work the volunteers do, and Campsite as an organisation makes a huge difference in so many people's lives. So what I can do is I can definitely send you an organogram. I think it may even be, perhaps for the next meeting, it may, oh, Peter's just coming in right at the end, which is I will let him in. What we can do is we can send an organogram, and perhaps the next meeting in 3 or 4 months' time, we could do another meeting like this, and it may be worthwhile talking you through what everyone does in the organisation.
Yes.
Because I'm getting nods of the heads. Joy, that's your job, is to get me to do that.
I'll do that, no problem.
Excellent. Okay, Peter, you've come in at the end. So we have been recording this meeting, and we will be posting a recording of it up on the website for anyone to see. So Peter, you'll have to watch it on the website to find out what you've missed.
Okay.
Helen.
Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Okay. You heard me, did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So unless anyone's got any other things they want to talk about, shall I call it a day there?
Yeah, I think it's really nice to see. I mean, I can't see everybody's face, but those that have, it's been lovely to see the volunteers again, and some that I've never seen yet, like Lindsay. And yeah, it's been brilliant. Yeah.
Well, thank you for this, and thank you for your volunteering. And genuinely, you know, I don't think we can say it enough that campsite wouldn't work without the support of the volunteers. You know, it just would not happen. So I'm hugely proud of the work that my staff do, and I get to see them every day. So when I see them, I can tell them, you know, that they're doing a good job and we can support them. I don't get to see you very much. So unashamedly, I'll say it again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great Christmas and a fantastic New Year.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Same to you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye everyone. Good to see you. Bye. Bye.
Goodbye. Bye.